The next morning, the news spread quickly. Soraya and Ethan had destroyed the power core. Some Saravi leaders were shocked. Others were angry. But many were silent, watching, thinking Ethan and Soraya returned to the council chamber. The room was filled with voices, louder than before. The act of destroying the core had changed something. The mood was no longer cold. It was unsure, but warmer. The head elder stood. "We have heard what you did. It was a bold move." Soraya nodded. It was the right move. "We cannot build peace with old weapons in our hands." A younger council member added, "The humans have responded." Their message was clear. They see this as a sign of trust. Ethan stepped forward. "We don't want to fight forever. People are tired. Families are broken. We need to heal." The elder looked at him. "You're not like the others." "I was," Ethan said. "But this war changed me." Meeting Soraya changed me. There were nods across the room. The council voted that evening. The vote was not perfect, but the majority agreed. A peace treaty would be signed. Later, Soraya found Ethan on the observation deck. He was staring at the stars again, quiet. "It worked," she said. They agreed. He smiled. "I know. I heard. I just can't believe it's real." She sat beside him. "You made it real." Ethan looked at her. "No, we did." For a moment, they sat in silence. Then Soraya placed a hand on his. "I want you to stay." Ethan turned to her. "I already told you I would. Not just here. With me." His heart skipped. "Are you sure?" She leaned closer. "More sure than anything." Their hands stayed, joined as they looked out at the stars. The next days were filled with celebration. A human delegation landed on the Saravi ship. Flags were raised, gifts exchanged. Soldiers who once fought now sat at the same table Ethan stood with Soraya on the platform where the treaty was signed. His uniform was cleaned and pressed. Soraya wore a ceremonial robe, bright with symbols of peace. One human general stepped forward and shook hands with a Saravi commander. Cameras flashed. People cheered then Soraya took the stage. "This day is the start of a new story." Not a war, but of unity. And it began with one human, one act of kindness, and a shared hope. She looked at Ethan as she spoke. His eyes never left hers. That night, they returned to the garden. The stars above were clearer than ever. "I never imagined this," Ethan said. "Not even in my dreams." Soraya touched his cheek. "And yet here we are." Suddenly a sound rang through the air. A guard rushed in. "Your Majesty, there's a problem." They followed him quickly to the command deck. A screen showed a new signal, one not from Earth or the Saravi, a third race. "They must have picked up the old beacon signal before we destroyed it," Soraya said. "And now they're coming." Ethan studied the screen. "Do we know who they are?" "Scouts call them the Varn," a Saravi officer said. "They are not peaceful." Ethan looked at Soraya. "After all this, is another war coming?" She shook her head. "Not if we stand together." He nodded. "Then we prepare. Not for war, but to protect this peace." She looked at him. "Together." He smiled. "Always." The alarm continued to beep, but the fear it once brought was different now. There was strength in unity. A queen and a soldier. Two worlds joined. And whatever came next, they would face it side by side. The days that followed were tense. The first meeting had gone well, but the talk slowed down. Some human commanders still did not trust the Saravi. Some Saravi leaders whispered that peace would make them weak. Soraya spent hours each day in council rooms, sending messages, answering questions, trying to keep the path clear. Ethan did what he could to help. He spoke with humans through the comm system, shared what he had seen, what he had learned. He told them about Soraya, about her kindness, her strength, and her wish to end the war. Some listened. Some still doubted. One evening, Soraya entered Ethan's room. She looked tired, her shoulders low, her robe wrinkled. They want to shut. The talk's down, she said. Some fear a trap. Others are too angry. Ethan stood. What can we do? They want proof that peace is better than victory. What kind of proof? She was silent for a moment. Then she said, the power core. Ethan frowned. What power core? Deep below this ship, hidden in the lower chambers, there's a device left. From the old war, a Saravi beacon. If it activates, it can send signals across space. Strong ones. The enemy could use it to find and destroy the last of my people. Ethan stared at her. And it still works? Yes, but it can be destroyed. You want to do it? She nodded. If we destroy it, it shows trust. That we no longer want to use old weapons. That we are ready for a new beginning. But it's dangerous. I must go. It was my family who built. It must be me who ends it. Ethan shook his head. I'm going with you. She opened her mouth to protest, but he raised his hand. You said we walk this path together. I won't let you go alone. They left before sunrise. The lower chambers of the ship were dark and cold. The walls there were older, marked with strange carvings. Saralia led the way, carrying a small light. Ethan followed, holding a toolkit and a scanner. These halls haven't been walked in years, she said. Not since the war. They reached a thick door. Saralia placed her hand on the panel. It opened slowly, with a deep sound like thunder. Inside, the room glowed with red light. The power core sat in the center, humming softly. Wires ran across the floor. Strange symbols blinked across the walls. Ethan looked at the readings. It's still active. Barely, but enough. Saralia walked forward. Her face was calm, but her eyes were full of pain. My father made this, she said. He believed it would save us. But it only brought more war. She reached for the control panel, but then a sound echoed from behind. A group of Saravi guards appeared, weapons drawn. Your Majesty, step back. One of them shouted. SERAL turned. Why are you here? We were sent to stop you, the lead guard said. The council believes destroying the core is too dangerous. They think it is a trap. Ethan stepped beside her. It's not a trap. This is the only way. The guard pointed his weapon. Move aside. Saralia lifted her chin. I am queen. I choose this path. Then you choose death. Before he could fire, Ethan stepped in front of her. You'll have to shoot me first. The room froze. The guard hesitated. Then slowly, he lowered his weapon. Let it be on your head, then. He turned and left, the others following. Saralia looked at Ethan. You could have been killed. He smiled. But I wasn't. She reached out and touched his cheek. Foolish human. Brave human, he corrected. She laughed softly, then turned back to the panel. Together, they worked to shut the core down. It took time. Wires were cut. Codes were entered. At last, the red light faded. The hum stopped. Silence filled the chamber. Saralia sighed. It's done. Ethan looked at her. Now the others will see. They'll know you mean peace. She nodded. Let us. Hope it's enough. As they walked back through the dark halls, Saralia slipped her hand into Ethan's. He held it tightly. No more words were needed. Above them, the stars waited. And across the vast space between worlds, a message of hope had just begun to shine brighter than any war ever could. The next day, the halls of the Saravi ship were filled with new energy. The news of Kao's agreement to consider peace spread fast. Many Saravi officers were surprised. Some were hopeful. A few remained cold and distant. Ethan spent most of the morning walking through the ship with Saralia. They stopped often to speak with others, young cadets, scientists, and older guards who had served during the first strikes against Earth. Many were polite but unsure. Some greeted Ethan with nods. Others avoided his eyes. They don't hate you, Saralia said quietly. They just don't know how to accept change. I get it, Ethan said. It's hard to trust someone who used to be the enemy. They reached a quiet garden deep inside the ship. Small glowing plants grew in rows, giving off soft light. A pool of water in the middle reflected the ceiling above, which showed a view of the stars. Seralu knelt by the pool and dipped her fingers into the water. This garden is from my mother's time. She believed peace was the only way forward. Ethan sat beside her. What happened to her? She died in the early battles, Seralu said, trying to protect children during a bombing run. I'm sorry, Seralu nodded slowly. That loss taught me that war may bring pride, but it never brings healing. Ethan looked at her. And now you're the one trying to protect the next generation. She gave him a soft smile, with a little help. Later, they were called to the council chamber again. This time, human delegates had arrived, 3 officers sent from a nearby human ship to meet with Seravi leaders. Ethan was surprised to see someone he knew among them. Sam? Ethan said. Sam Walker, a fellow soldier and former squadmate, stepped forward with wide eyes. Ethan, you're alive? Ethan laughed and hugged him. Barely. But yeah, I'm still here. The reunion was short. The meeting began quickly. The Seravi Council sat on one side of the chamber. The humans sat on the other. In the middle stood Seralia and Ethan. A Seravi elder spoke first. We are ready to discuss peace, but we must know if Earth truly wants the same. A human officer replied, Earth wants peace. But we won't lower our guard unless we see change. Seralia stepped forward. We destroyed one of our ancient beacons, one that could have been used to strike Earth. Ethan was with me when we did it. The room murmured again. Sam looked at Ethan. Is that true? Ethan nodded. She didn't have to do it, but she did. For trust. Another Seravi leader added, and General Kale has agreed to stand down for now. He supports giving this chance a real try. A long silence followed. Then the human commander said, That's a start. But we'll need a formal treaty. Joint missions. Shared information. The Seravi nodded. We agree. The talks lasted hours. Details were hard. Arguments rose and fell. But by the end, a draft of peace had begun. A real plan. When the meeting ended, Seralia turned to Ethan. You did well. He smiled. I think you did most of the talking. But they listened to you, she said, and that matters. As they left the chamber, a young Seravi girl ran up to Seralia and hugged her leg. Thank you, Queen, she said in a tiny voice. Sera knelt and hugged her back. You're welcome, little one. Ethan watched with quiet awe. It was easy to forget that behind all the robes, titles, and battles, Seralia was still someone who cared deeply. That night, they sat together again, near the window of Ethan's room. He had been given better quarters now, with a larger bed and soft lights. He looked out at the stars. What happens next? He asked. Seralia answered softly. We continue. We build something new. He looked at her. And us? She turned to him. You are free to leave, Ethan. Your people will welcome you back. He stayed quiet for a moment. Then he said, I don't want to leave. She blinked. You don't? I've seen enough of war. I want to stay where peace is growing, and I want to stay with you. She reached for his hand. Then stay. Outside, the stars continued to move. Inside, something steady was beginning to form between them, a bond built on hope, trust, and something even stronger. They didn't speak again that night. They just sat in silence, hand in hand, ready for whatever came next. The next morning, Ethan was called to the command deck. Seralia was already there, standing before a large screen showing a map of nearby space. Red lights blinked slowly on the edges. We received a message, she said. One of our lost fleets has returned, but they are not answering our signals. Ethan stepped closer. Could it be a trap? Seralia looked at him. It might be, or it might be General Kale. Who's that? She frowned. a Saravi leader who refused to stop fighting. He vanished months ago. Many believed he died. But if he's alive, he will try to stop the peace talks. Ethan crossed his arms. Then we need to talk to him before he acts. She nodded. We're preparing a small ship. I want you to come with me. He paused. You're going yourself? I must, she said. If Kale sees a human with me, maybe he'll realize we're serious about peace. An hour later, they were in a sleek scout ship flying toward the last known location of the lost fleet. The stars passed by like slow-moving snow. Soraya sat beside Ethan, calm but thoughtful. I don't know if Kale will listen, she said. He believes humans cannot be trusted. I used to believe the same about Saravi, Ethan said. But now I'm here, with you. She smiled a little. You've changed. So have you. Their ship soon reached the edge of a dark zone. A group of Saravi warships floated quietly in the distance. No lights, no movement. Looks abandoned, Ethan said. C. Ariel leaned forward. No, they're waiting. Their ship sent out a signal. A few moments later, a reply came back, but not words. Just a warning pulse. We're being scanned, she said. They know we're here. Then a voice echoed over the speaker. Soraya, you should not have come, Soraya replied calmly. Kale, we need to speak. Alone. Ethan looked at her. He means without me. I won't leave you, she said. You have to, Ethan said. You might not listen if I'm there. But he needs to hear you. She hesitated, then nodded. Be careful. A transport beam took her aboard Kale's ship. Ethan watched the screen as she disappeared. Then silence. Minutes passed. Then a full hour. Ethan waited, pacing. The stars outside didn't move. He began to worry. Then suddenly, a red warning flashed. Another ship appeared, an old human warship, long thought destroyed. It was heading toward the Saravi fleet. Ethan's eyes widened. No, they'll think it's an attack. He sent a message quickly. This is Ethan Cole. Don't fire. Don't attack the Saravi fleet. But the human ship didn't answer. It launched a probe one that could trigger weapons fire. Ethan grabbed the controls. I have to stop this. He sent a pulse to disable the probe. It worked, but it also gave away his position. Kale's fleet powered up. Weapons locked onto Ethan's ship. Alarm screamed out, then Soraya's voice came over. The line. Hold your fire. He's not the enemy. Ethan breathed out in relief. Her face appeared on the screen. Her eyes were serious but calm. Kale understands now, she said. He saw what you just did. Kale himself appeared on screen. He was older than Ethan expected, with hard eyes and a scar on his cheek. You risked your life to stop an attack, Kale said. Why? Ethan answered simply. Because this war needs to end. I've seen too much pain. So have you? Kale was silent for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. Perhaps peace is possible. They returned to the main ship. When Soraya stepped off the platform, she looked tired but hopeful. We have a chance now, she said to Ethan. Later that night, Ethan sat alone, looking out the window. He thought of home, of Earth, of the war that had taken so many friends. Soraya joined him. She didn't speak at first, just sat beside him. I never thought I'd trust a human, she said finally. But I do. Ethan looked at her. I never thought I'd trust a queen from another world, but here we are. She turned to him. Thank you for believing in this. In me, he smiled. You're not alone anymore. Outside, 2 moons rose. Over the edge of the Saravi homeworld, peace still had far to go, but a path had begun. And 2 hearts from different worlds had started to beat together. Ethan woke up in a new room. It was not a prison cell anymore. The bed was soft, and the lights were gentle. There was even a small window that showed the stars. He sat up slowly, unsure if this was real. A soft knock came from the door. Then it opened, and Soraya entered. She wore a different robe now, something simpler, but still beautiful. Her long, pale blue hair flowed behind her as she stepped inside. "I hope the room is comfortable," she said. Ethan nodded. "It's more than I expected. You're not a prisoner anymore," she said. "You're our guest now." He raised an eyebrow. "A guest?" "On a ship full of aliens who were fighting my people." She sat on a chair across from him. "I told the council what you did. Some believed me. Some didn't. But I spoke with strength. I told them your kindness saved my family." Ethan looked at her. "And that was enough?" "For now," she said. "But not everyone agrees. Some want you gone. Others want you dead." Ethan leaned back. "Then why keep me here?" "Because I trust you," she said. "And because I want you to speak to the humans. I want you to help them understand." He shook his head. "I'm not a leader. I'm just a soldier." "You are more than that now." There was a pause. Then she stood and walked to the window. "Do you know why this war started?" Ethan sighed. "People said it was about territory, resources, fear, all of that," she said. "But also lies. Lies passed from one generation to the next. Stories that made the other side into monsters." Ethan stood and walked over. "And now?" "Now I want to change the story," she said. "But I can't do it alone." He looked at her. "What do you want me to do?" "Come with me to the council chamber," she said. "Speak to the others. Let them see you are not our enemy." "Will they even listen?" "They might," she said, "if you speak from your heart." Later that day, Saralia brought him to a large round room filled with Saravi leaders. They wore long robes, and their faces were serious. Some looked at Ethan with curiosity, others with cold eyes. Saralia stood in the center. "This is Ethan Cole, a human soldier who risked his life to save one of us." The room murmured. He did not know who the wounded soldier was. He only saw someone in need. "That act speaks louder than any words," one elder stood. "How can we trust a human? Their ships still circle our skies. Their weapons are still aimed at us." Ethan stepped forward. "And your ships are pointed at Earth. Your weapons have taken lives too." The elder frowned. Ethan continued. "But I didn't come here to blame you. I came here because I was captured. And I stayed because your queen showed me mercy." He looked around the room. "You think all humans want war, just like we think all Saravi want to destroy us. But it's not true. People on both sides are tired of fighting. We want to go home. We want peace." Another voice spoke. "Peace requires more than words." "I know," Ethan said. "But it starts with words. And then actions. Let me be the first." Saralia smiled. The room was quiet for a long time. Then the head elder spoke again. "We will think on this. But know this, humanoid patience is not endless." Ethan nodded. "I understand." That night, Saralia came to him again. She looked pleased. "You did well," she said. "I just spoke the truth." "Sometimes that's the hardest thing to say," she said. They sat by the window together. The stars were bright. "Do you miss Earth?" she asked. "Every day," he said. "But right now, I don't regret being here." She looked at him. "Neither do I." Their hands touched gently. For a moment, nothing else mattered. But far away, in another part of the ship, a signal was sent. A Saravi general who disagreed with Saralia's path had made contact with a hidden fleet. He did not believe in peace. He believed in victory. War was not finished yet. And Ethan and Saralia were about to face something darker than before. But for now, they looked at each other and found comfort. Something had begun between them. Something fragile. But maybe, just maybe, strong enough to change everything. Ethan sat inside the small holding cell. His wrists were sore from the cuffs, and his legs felt weak. The air around him was cool but heavy with silence. He didn't know how long it had been since he was taken from his unit, but it felt like days. The last thing he remembered was the flash of alien weapons and the burning ground under his feet. He had been captured during the battle on Varela 9, a planet claimed by both humans and the alien race known as the Saravi. The Saravi were tall, elegant, and powerful. Their technology was far ahead of anything humans had seen. Many thought they were monsters. Ethan wasn't sure what to think anymore. He had seen one of their warriors heal a wounded human before. The fight broke out again. That made him question everything. The cell door opened with a soft hiss. 2 Saravi guards stepped inside. Their silver armor shimmered in the low light. One of them raised a hand and spoke in perfect English. "Come with us, human. The Queen wishes to see you." Ethan stood slowly. His legs trembled, but he forced himself to stay upright. He didn't know what the Queen wanted. Maybe she just wanted to see the face of her enemy. Maybe it was time for his execution. The guards led him through long, curved halls. The ship looked more like a palace than a warship. The walls were lined with glowing symbols and soft lights. The floor felt smooth under his boots. He noticed there were no chains, no pushing. The guards did not treat him like a slave or a prisoner. Just someone being escorted. Finally, they stopped at a large door. It opened slowly, revealing a grand chamber. At the far end stood the Saravi Queen. She was taller than he expected. Her skin was pale blue, and her long hair shimmered like starlight. She wore a flowing robe that sparkled with soft colors. Her eyes, deep and violet, locked onto his the moment he stepped in. "Leave us," she said to the guards. The room fell silent as they left. Ethan looked around, unsure what to say or do. The Queen stepped forward. "You are Ethan Cole, a soldier of Earth's Defense Force," she said. He nodded slowly. "Yes, Your Majesty." Her lips curled slightly. "You fear me." He didn't answer right away. "I don't know what to feel." She came closer. "You fought well. Many Saravi fell to your fire. But you were also the one who pulled one of my wounded from the firestorm." "Why?" Ethan blinked. "He was hurt. He couldn't move." "I didn't want him to burn. You saved my nephew." That made Ethan pause. "I didn't know." She studied him. "We are taught that humans are cruel and only seek war. But you carried him, even while the battle still raged. I saw it myself, through the eyes of my guards." Ethan looked down. "Not all of us want war. Some of us just want to go home." The Queen was silent for a moment. Then she turned and walked to a wide window. It looked out into space. Stars sparkled like snow in the dark. "My name is Saroya," she said softly. Ethan stepped closer. "Saroya?" "Yes, not just a queen, but also a daughter, a sister, an aunt. I grew up with stories of Earth's cruelty, but now I begin to doubt them." Ethan spoke carefully. "And humans are told the Saravi hate us, that you see us as pests." "I did," she said, "until I saw you shield one of us with your own body." He looked at her. Her voice was calm, but he felt something behind it. "Pain, maybe, or loneliness. I'm just a soldier," he said. "I was doing what felt right." Saroya turned. To him, her violet eyes were bright but not cold. "You are more than a soldier now, Ethan Cole. You are proof that peace may still be possible." He didn't know what to say. His heart pounded in his chest. She walked closer and stopped just a few feet from him. "You have been treated well, yes?" "Yes," he said. "No chains, no beatings. I expected worse." "We are not monsters," she whispered. He looked into her eyes. "Neither are we." There was a long pause. Then she reached out and gently touched his arm. Her fingers were cool but soft. "You are wounded," she said. Ethan had almost forgotten. His ribs still ached from when he was hit. "It's fine. Let me see." She placed her hand on his side. A warm light glowed between her fingers. The pain began to fade. He stared at her, surprised. "How did you do that?" She didn't answer. Her hand stayed on his skin for a moment longer. Then she stepped back. "There is still much we do not understand about each other," she said. Ethan nodded. "That's true. The door opened again. A guard stepped inside. "Your Majesty, the council awaits." Saralia looked at Ethan once more. "I must go." He gave her a small nod. "Thank you for not killing me." She paused. Then she said, in a quiet voice, "Please don't die, human." Her words froze him in place. She turned and walked out, her robe flowing behind her like mist. Ethan stood alone in the chamber. The stars outside the window still shone. But something inside him had changed. The Queen's words echoed in his mind. He was no longer just a soldier, no longer just a prisoner. Something was happening, something he couldn't yet understand. But he knew one thing. He wanted to see her again.